acercamiento que tuviste con la historia de Dolores Huerta? La primera vez que conociste a su historia.
I had met Dolores several years earlier. I have a voting organization in the United States called Voto Latino, and we do voter registration and census initiatives. We've registered over 250,000 people. We're 10 years old this year. So I was really excited to meet her years ago because one of the things that she's always critically done, including during the time of this film, was registering people and making sure that they had a voice beyond just a march or a petition, but actually being able to have a say in the government, because that's why it's called We the People. And letting people see their responsibility. And so I was really excited. We met talking about immigration reform at this town hall, and then I don't know how it worked out to get the permission or her approval or whatever for me to portray her. I don't know if that was before you talked to me or after, but I know she was happy with me working on the film, and it was great to have the excuse to talk to her. Since then, doing press and showing the film, she's been in Germany, she went to the White House as well. You know, she's just turned 83, I believe, and she's still really in it. She comes to our different stuff that we still do with Voto Latino. I help her out with her foundation, and I just am so grateful to be a chapter of her life, actually. You know, she's lived a really remarkable life. She was a feminist before feminism was even coined. You know, she's worked for LGBTQI issues, she's worked against pesticides, and she's just, I mean, literally everything. And she really is a remarkable human being and leader and person. She's very warm, she's got a beautiful family, she has 11 children. They're wonderful, I've spent a lot of time. She's a great dancer, she goes to Burning Man. I mean, everything about Dolores Huerta is awesome. And I love her, and I'm really, I'm profoundly grateful that this is the time that the movie was made, because I wouldn't have been able to portray her in any other time. You know, this is the first time the family gave permission to make a film about Cesar in this moment. So I just feel really grateful. You know, I think it was necessary that they waited, because Diego was clearly the person to direct the film. And I'm just really grateful that we all got to be a part of it. Like, it really, this felt historic. This is part of their legacy. Thank you.
And having a Rosario as your co-star, what do you see in this generation of filmmakers?
Well, I have, sorry, I thought I was in theater. I've worked with Diego now 3 times in different guises. Once directing him in a play, once being directed by him in a film, and once producing, executive producing his first film, Abba. I was pretty busy that year doing a lot of things, and it wasn't easy to find a spot in the crazy work and travel schedule that I had, but I'm delighted we did. We've always thought in our company, Mr. Love, that Diego is a fantastic directing talent. He sees things even when he was acting on stage. He's fully aware of everything that's going on around, from production elements or issues, really through every single aspect of it. And when we were asked to participate in Abel's first film, we were delighted and had a great time, as we had our first experience with Canana and with Diego in Good Canary. And with this, Diego is a wonderful actor, as director. When an actor can really direct, it's kind of the best of both worlds, because they know what they're asking you to do, because they know the work, and they know what's important and unimportant, and they know what to emphasize or de-emphasize. But it's not that many actors who can see with the camera's eyes, because that's quite a different thing, even than seeing a scene in a room. They always say the camera doesn't lie, and I always say that's what it's for. But there are very few actors who become directors or actor-directors who actually can see with the camera's eye and yet have a really profound notion of what an actor goes through, what an actor does, and how to help elicit good performances from good actors. That's what I would say.
Thank you.
Hello here, Chavez. But who do you consider right now in this time it's a Latin leader that it's very important and maybe it's not that popular for us being as popular in USA, or should have that importance?
What Latino leader out there? Latin, yeah. I mean, all of them. It's kind of hard to pinpoint. I think that reality and what I love about what this movie shows us is that everyone has an opportunity and a stake in it. And it's not just our leaders, because we elected them, or we are passively sitting by while they're not doing their job. And so many people, and I know this because I do voter registration, so many people just don't want to be a part of it at all. They'd rather complain about it, but not necessarily be a part of it. And we were talking about that earlier, about how, Cesar says, I'm angry. And that's not where the thought ended. It didn't say, I'm angry, period, at the end. It was, I'm angry, so I'm going to organize, and I'm going to talk to my neighbors and my friends and my family, and I'm going to reach out, and I'm going to do something about it. And so I think it's easy sometimes to pick at one person and say that this person needs to do a better job or do this differently, but the reality is we all have to. Like, that's actually what makes the big difference. We are interconnected. It would take 100 years to remake this room exactly the same. It's from the materials that came from all around the world, the skills, the labor, every single second of every day, our lives, we are that privileged. We are so comfortable. We don't have to make our own clothes. We don't pick our own food, grow it. So I go to, so many places in the world, they have to go and fetch their water, and it's not clean, and there's so many hindrances, and we're having this opportunity where we're speaking multiple languages, we have these microphones, we have so much access. So there's really no reason, if we're able to ask the question, then we should be able to do something about it to solve the answer. Because it's not something that's separate from us. Our leaders are not separate from us. Our government is not separate from us. They're made up of people just like ourselves. They're not. It's like sometimes how people talk about celebrities, like, oh, you're a celebrity. I'm like, well, that doesn't make me not a human. It doesn't make me not a citizen. It doesn't make me not concerned and a sister or a daughter or a mother or any of these different things. I'm still here, and it's like we have these magazines, like, they're just like us. They walk to school. You're like, yeah, because I'm a human being. And so are our leaders. And I think that's what we need to see, is that they're people and they're fallible. They got up that morning, are they in a good mood? Or do they get along with the people they work with? One of the things that I'm constant, because I go to the correspondence dinner in DC, and that's where they have all of the different media who come in and sit down and they roast the president. And they do this every year. every president. And what's so striking about it is you see these people who are on our news channels every day who yell at each other, can't be decent, can't seem to follow an argument through, nothing gets solved. Yet they're all sitting next to each other every year, laughing it up and having a good time. And the president changes, but most of those people stay the same. And you can't help but ask what their responsibility is. You know, they're sitting there going, oh, this president, this or that. And I'm like, yeah, but you've been here for 20 years. What have you done to make it better? Or since I watch you yell on television all day, you're not making it anything solvable. So you're just as much to be held accountable as anyone else. And I think that's where we really have to, that's the perspective we need to start taking. You know, I think that's not being rude or anything, but like that's really the question we have to ask. What do all of us need to do to step up our game, to make some traction on these issues? This is not an unsolvable crisis. The water issues, food, yeah, maybe we don't have the cure to cancer, but we know how to give people water. Like, we know how to get people food. We know how to pay people decent wages, and we know that benefits everyone. If someone has a break, has a chance to use the restroom, so they're not using the crops as their toilet, and then giving people diseases because the food then travel someplace else. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not rocket science. And I think that's the question we need to ask ourselves, and I love that film gives us that opportunity sometimes, because it's this mirror that shows up, and maybe someone didn't learn about Cesar Chavez in school, but you watch this movie, and it's not just a movie because all of us eat, and all of us have that opportunity. We all have friends we can call and say, hey, let's vote, hey, let's march, hey, let's make a noise about this issue. We can do that. That's what they did. So hopefully we're inspired to do that, and then I think we'll see some real changes. Maybe then those will be the people who will run for office and start really solving these problems.
Gracias. Tenemos tiempo para dos